The season is not over. You can take a deep breath, Nuggets fans. Nikola Jokic will miss time, and we'll talk about the implications. But Jokic will miss 4 weeks with a hyperextended knee. We'll break it all down on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and being part of our community. Appreciate you guys listening to us, whether you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, where we appreciate the reviews, or at youtube.com/Locked On Nuggets, where you can join the comment section and talk with all sorts of folks, get their thoughts about Nikola Jokic's injury and the season, as well as the season at large. Thanks for being an everydayer, and thanks for making us your first listen. We are with you Monday through Friday and on the weekends after every single Nuggets game. My name is Matt Moore. I've been covering the Denver Nuggets for 14 seasons. I've written at a number of places. I'm joined by Swipa, who you can catch on Locked On NBA Game Night, Player's Choice, Locked On NFL Game Night, and the Press Box, as well as his own channel covering every Nuggets game at Swipa Cam on YouTube. On today's show, we're just going to discuss the injury and the ramifications of it. The Denver Nuggets somebody in the comments was like, why are we asking, why are we thanking God? Because that's the title of the thumbnail. And it's, look, this could have been something, he could have torn something. He hyperextended his knee. Now, I wasn't too worried about it, Cam. Like, I thought, because it was contact, and when I thought about it, I was like, oh, he hyperextended it because the weight of Spencer coming down on his foot combined with his motion pulled it out, and so he hyperextended it. Shams Charania has reported it's going to be he'll be reevaluated in 4 weeks. That's the designation that we're going to see for him. Are you relieved? Are you mad? Are you disappointed? Are you where are you at with this news?
Well, I think the first one was, I told Ryan yesterday on the show that there's only twice I've ever seen him on the ground of note in my brain. The first time was in the round 1 of 22, where Draymond seemingly kind of purposely backed into Jokic into his knee, where he landed on the ground, but then he was okay. And then remember the Phoenix series in 2021. You probably remember this. This might have been the 30-20-10 game to end the series, when he went down in a heap, was able to finish the game. So that was the only other 2 times. And so I think, Jokic being as much of an Iron Man as he is, this was like such a freak. So I don't know. Are you into Avengers, Marvel at all, Matt? Anything like that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the trailer dropped for Doomsday for next week, for next year, with
one of the 4, yes.
One of the 4 with Thor. So Captain America, Thor came out today. Mm-hmm. And, the whole concept of the multiverse is that there's an infinite amount of things happening all at once. And so in my brain, immediately when I watched the injury yesterday, I was like, I wonder how many other universes that is just a regular step for Nikola Jokic, and he just takes a basic step. Spencer Jones doesn't have his momentum sending him back, where he completely avoids Jokic's foot. And then it was just, they go into the half. Jokic is 21-8-5, and Matt, end of the game, Nuggets win, and he has 38, 16 and 12, and it's like, wow, another great game for Jokic. The Nuggets win. Matt's at the end of the day is like, you know what, the defense, we really need to talk about the defense. It felt like we were they would have gave up 125 points again, right? So just conceptually, I think we were that close, I feel like, to getting a just regular day, man. And so when it happened, it was just, I think I just was like, how do you have 4 starters get hurt in 1 year? Like, all in the span of 6 weeks together.
Yeah.
It's just like how clustered all the injuries are that makes this thing so crazy to me. But obviously, having played a lot of sports, I've seen hyperextensions a lot. I felt like it was, but, you just don't ever want to assume, because you just don't know. But again, I said this last night on both shows, mine and Locked On, that Giannis had a similar injury. He was out for 2 weeks. It felt like it would be similar. So obviously it just sucked, man. I was just, if anything, I was trying to control the crowd a little bit, that they didn't go into sheer panic, because
everybody was freaking out. Everybody really freaked out, which I get. This is the year where everybody's really expecting the worst, because they're so scarred from 24. Like, that's my theory, is that everyone was so confident in 23-24, and the fact that that didn't work out really kind of like freaked everyone out. I have some takes. So I don't know when Jokic's going to come back. He's no longer 25, and that impacts things. My inclination for covering the entirety of his career is that he will be back sooner than anyone thinks. That is my personal take without a medical degree, based off of he's a tank, and he it's not even, I think, that he's like, I gotta play, I just love playing so much. He's just like, this is my job, I can play, it's fine. His game is not dependent on hyper athleticism. The people that are like, it's gonna be 4 weeks of evaluation, then weeks for ramp up, I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's entirely possible that he's back early. You can feel that he shouldn't. And I would probably agree with you that he needs to make sure that he's not risking anything further. And that's probably the element here, is like, if the staff is like, look, man, you don't have enough stability, you could tear the other leg, then he'll be like, all right, fine. But you were talking last night about like, he needs to wait till he's 100% back. And like, I appreciate why you said that, but like, I just don't think that's Joker. I think he's going to come back the second that he's like, I don't think it's going to be the medical staff. I don't think it's going to be about clearing him. I think it's going to be like, I'm good. I can play. I'm fine. And I think he comes back early. I don't know if that's good or bad. That's just like, based off of my understanding of him, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. So I will say that, I'm always on the cautious side with players, but I do understand your point about Jokic coming back. Now, again, I will say this is just my experience and what I've seen. Typically with hyperextensions, Matt, what it is a bone bruise. Typically, if it's not ligament damage, it's a bone bruise. Bruises take time to heal because it's about comfort when you come back.
Right.
The problem is when you have a hyperextension, if you haven't had one in the chat, it's the same thing if you do it with your wrist or any other part. Anything that has a joint on it, it's a soreness level. And hyperextensions, your knee can be sore as crap for a while, to where your mobility is just almost damn near impossible. So what happens is, a bone bruise, you have to which is a bruise, is like the blood has to do the work of the body to bring healing to the affected area. And then from there, it's about, well, how are you managing your pain? Jokic will probably come back with like a knee sleeve just to help him with some of those things. It's a lot of heat pads. It's a lot of ice tubs. It's a lot of baths. Like, there's several different things that you do. Like, there's a lot of stuff you'll do just to get the knee functioning and mobile and feeling good. To your point though, Matt, if there is a reality where he says by week 3, it's a little sore, but like, it's not affecting my planning, my jumping.
Yeah.
Why am I sitting out? And so there's a very real possibility, because the same thing happened again. I'll note this with Giannis. Remember, he got hurt in the Atlanta Hawks series, Matt. And then he didn't finish the series, and everybody thought like, man, there's no way he can play in this finals, right? He comes back versus the Bucks or versus the Suns with a knee sleeve on, 50 ball in game 6, and it's like, all right, well, it's just about pain tolerance. And so there's a very real world. Matt, I did note this. I don't know if you got a chance to see this tweet I put out, but just based on what they've shared with us, if he missed 4 weeks, actually weeks of basketball, that means that would put him out from December 30th, which is today, and that would take him all the way through January 27th, which would be a 15-game marker. So, Matt, if we get to, they're playing Detroit in Denver on January 27th, it's been 4 full weeks of Jokic sitting out. Where do you think we'll be by that point?
I mean, don't hold me to any of this, because
sure.
Like, I just don't know. I just think he plays. I think he's back in the 3rd week. I just do. Because a lot of what you said is, if it's a comfort thing, look, I come on here and I hold Jokic accountable when he has bad games, like the Jazz game in 2020 and the Clippers game a couple of years ago. Like, I think it's important that the crown be heavy for the best player in the world. At the same time, I have never, ever seen, not covered, seen a tougher player. In my entire life, I've never seen a tougher player. Like, he will just be like, pain is whatever. Like there is a Serbian mindset that I am extremely in awe of. One thing I've said with players is the difference between injured and hurt is an important distinction that players, if you get them off record, will talk about. And I do think it's some of it's looked at as like a character flaw, and I don't think it should be. Like I personally am just like Anthony Davis doesn't have great pain tolerance. He just doesn't. He just doesn't have great pain tolerance. He's in a lot of pain all the time because of how physical this game is and what it does to your body. But also, Anthony Davis does not have great pain tolerance. He just can't play through stuff. He just can't. He just can't play through it. And I don't blame him for that. That's okay. Like, it's okay for us to have different levels of pain tolerance. And if you really want proof of this, get married. Get married and have kids. And you will understand a difference in pain tolerance because my wife has way higher pain tolerance than I do. But pain tolerance, I think, is different for everybody. And Jokic's pain tolerance is like extremely high. And so I just think that he'll probably play through it. The schedule part is so important to this because I talked about it when the schedule came out. I was like, hey, December, January, the games are dense. They're competitive. It's arduous. This is the toughest stretch. And guess what? They're going into it missing 4 starters and their best player, who is worth all of those guys times 2. And it's tough. It's brutal. It's a nightmare. We'll talk about what we expect for this stretch. How bad is it going to be? Is it going to be as bad as we think? And what does that mean for their playoff seeding implications? What do we expect for the Nuggets when they come out of this? We'll talk about all that coming up on Locked On Nuggets. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump in on the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player prop updates as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. I've done this where I've actually bet Bo Nix rushing touchdowns in second half spots pretty often because the market is unable to accurately account for how good Nix is in those second halves, especially being able to generate scoring drives, especially in the fourth quarter. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us. Thanks for making us your first listen. Okay. So 15 games. We could give him 17 if we want to. Go ahead and say that he misses some extra time based off of the ideas of what some other people have. The schedule is road heavy, but it's pretty consistent with it being like they're just on the road for this entire stretch. Like that's what it looks like. They're at Toronto, at Cleveland, at Brooklyn, at Philly, at Boston, at Atlanta, home for the Bucks. They're home for Atlanta and the Bucks. At Pels, at Mavericks, at Wizards, at Hornets, home versus Hornets, home versus Lakers, home versus Wizards. So they've got like this big East Coast road trip. Then they face a bunch of teams that are kind of in the middle. They do have a one-off to Washington on January 22nd, which is weird, but that's the kind of stuff that Adelman's really complained about. I think Christian comes back this week. I think AG comes back within 2 weeks. I think Cam's back within 3. I have Jokic worth 8 points on their power rating. That is by far the most in the league. It's also based off of the negative value of Jonas, based off of his stats. I don't know what these minutes are going to look like with Jonas in his stead. That's not to say that I'm like, it could be good. Like, it's going to be bad. I also don't know if when they get their starters back, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if it's like a +2, +3 debt rating. Is it a -2? Is it a -3? I don't know what to expect because I have no frame of reference for what this team looks like without Nikola.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a split front court between Jonas Valanciunas, Zeke Naji, and De'Ron Holmes. And I think that De'Ron Holmes obviously got some run in the fourth quarter yesterday. You know, he looks like a big baby gazelle out there, very long legs, very fresh. And it's going to be some real important minutes for him to get some NBA time. I think this is going to be an upside to this moment. Jamal Murray, I don't have a concern because I don't actually have a concern. I think Jamal's going to play a lot better than some people maybe are giving him credit for, given how well he's played this year and respectfully how good he's played with Jonas. I think his efficiency could take a hit, obviously, because he's going to get blitzed like a madman. But I do think that they'll be able to put together some strong runs because they're going to be starting Jamal Murray, Peyton Watson, Spencer Jones, Tim Hardaway Jr., and then Jonas Valanciunas, and then the bench is going to be Bruce Brown, Julian Strother, Zeke Naji, Deron Holmes.
Yes, Deron. Better get Deron's got to play. Like Deron could quite honestly be. I am not exaggerating. He can be a difference maker in this stretch because you just need production. Like it's fine if he doesn't know what he's doing and those minutes are messy. If he's getting points and rebounds, that's all you need to get through those stretches.
Mm-hmm. I think the shooting will help as well. He's proven, I think, to be a good shooter at this point.
People are. I want to get the chat has been a lot of people have commented on this Swipa that they really feel that Jamal is getting run down too, and he needs time off. Usually, I am the one that says that is okay, that you need to do that. You do that from a position of strength. They do not have that position now because of what this injury situation does to their win probability. You can't afford to take off like you just can't afford to bleed win probability here. If you have let's say that you've got a 35% chance of winning the game at Cleveland. Cavs have been really rough this year. Cavs have been inconsistent. They're still a much better team than Denver without Nikola.
Yeah.
That's also in just a handful of days. So like AG's not going to be back. You cannot take a game like that and be like, we're going to bail on this 35%. That's high enough that you actually need, because your average over the stretch is all going to be sub 40. Like you are less than a 40% chance to win any game without Nikola. So you have to take the opportunities where you can find them to try and steal wins. Mm-hmm. What I will say is people are like, they're not going to win any games. Guys, the Wizards, the Nets, and the Jazz have all won games in the last weekend. Like the Nets are winning games now.
And that's just beat the Wolves.
The Wizards are winning games right now. The Bulls beat the Nuggets. The Kings beat the Nuggets. The Mavs beat the Nuggets twice. Mm-hmm. Like they're gonna win games. The overall is gonna be bad. It's gonna be, let's say 17 games. And we can go schedule by schedule, but I don't know if that's really helpful because it's like they might win one that we think that they'll lose, but then lose one that we think that they'll win. What do you think is like the record to aim for in 17 games?
If they did 9-8, I'd be ecstatic about that. If they did 8-9, I'd be ecstatic about that.
What's the floor for you to be disappointed?
Oh, I mean, 4 or 5 wins is still disappointing. I think that's like you're an NBA team,
Yes, yeah, I am in. You need to go 7-10.
That's fair.
You go 7-10, and the wins are something like find a way to split with Toronto and Cleveland, find a way to split with Brooklyn and Philly. Boston, Atlanta is really tough. Those are 2 pretty good teams.
Well, Trae Young's back, so it's a little easier now.
Atlanta, I know. Atlanta's really struggling. Like they're just they're in the bad place. The Boston game, I will say, is one they should just take. They should just punt. Just punt the Boston game.
Jonas Valanciunas versus Kata and all them, that spread offense.
Yeah, tough. Like you can rebound, you can get offensive rebounds, but like you don't have any rebounders. What sucks is I think with Jokic they killed them. I think they killed them in that. I think the Celtics are really good and can win the East, and I think they killed them in that game because of the offensive rebounding. Like split with Milwaukee, New Orleans, split with Dallas, Washington, split with Charlotte, LA. Like all of these game sets are like, if you look at it that way in 2 game sets, you can talk yourself into it being like, you could split one of these. Like, all right, you don't play well versus the Hornets and you lose to a team that is actually above 500 when Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball play. Okay, but then the Lakers, they always screw around and you catch them and you manage to beat the Lakers without Nikola. And how frustrated and mad with
saying AG and Christian are back by that game.
Right. Yeah. That's January 20th. They're probably back by that point. Memphis, Detroit. Okay, Memphis, you're at Memphis. They catch you, but you come back home in 2 days for a Detroit team that's not been good on the road in the Western Conference this season, and you catch them. Like people are asking, like, what if we lose every game? It's just, I don't want to say it's not possible because then it'll happen and I'll look like an idiot. There's nothing in NBA history that tells me that this team is so bad that they would not be able to steal some of these wins. These are still professional players.
Mm-hmm.
And like, these are pretty good players when they're healthy. Like, these are actually pretty good players. They're built around Nikola, and that's why they're going to lose most of their games. And Nikola is the best player in the world. That's why they're going to lose most of their games. But I do think that between 6-11 and 7-10 is a pretty realistic goal.
Yeah, so if they went 6-11, Matt, that would put them at what, 28-21?
Yeah.
And then Jokic comes back for the rest of the last third of the season, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's disappointing given where the context of that is. Now, obviously, you know, the 40-20 rule would their SRS ranking that you put out and their 40-20 rule would be put out, but
yeah.
Will that matter for you at all with their seeding if they're just healthy going to the playoffs?
Guess who didn't qualify for 40-20? The 2011 Dallas Mavericks. That's the goal now, is to be that team. Let's talk a little bit about that stuff. Let's talk about seeding and the implications of it and what this could mean for Denver. And I think I have the right take on that. We'll talk about that coming up on Locked On Nuggets. Nobody knows your money goal is better than you. Robinhood puts you in control of your money with tools that work as hard as you do. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and making this part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us. Somebody commented on MPJ. They're like, I thought MPJ was the injury prone one. MPJ played through a bunch of stuff. Like, he played with one shoulder last year, guys. It wasn't injuries.
I think
it is his long-term injury status, because
played 158 of the last 162 games in Denver.
Like, MPJ's also been very honest about like how short his like career might be. So keep that in mind as you watch this stuff. But like, good for Mike for having a great season. Okay. So one, people asked about MVP. This will probably put him over the 16 games that you can miss. This will probably, and you're going to not want to play him on back-to-backs coming off the injury either. So he's probably not going to be eligible, period. Also, if Shea plays 20 more games than him, or not 20 more games, if Shea plays 10 to 12 more games than him, even if Jokic qualifies, it's really hard to miss that. That's just really difficult. So Jokic probably is not winning MVP this year. On the important side, as bad as this stretch is going to be with a dense schedule, a road-heavy schedule, but they've been great on the road this year. March continues to be the spot where it's like they can absolutely fatten up and make a run. It is a reasonable schedule with more rest, spaced out games, and lots of home games. So he gets back. They get through February. They crush at post All-Star through April 1.
Yeah.
My prediction now is that they are not going to meet the top 3 requirement for title contention. They're going to wind up in the 4-5. However, if you want to know this, the Indiana Pacers were a 5 seed. The Dallas Mavericks were a 5 seed. And the Miami Heat were an 8 seed. We have a history of teams making runs to the finals, and this is going to be a little bit different because all of these numbers that I've put together now, some of these teams didn't make it because of injuries like this, right? Like, one of the reasons why the top 3 is like, oh, they had an injury, and so they didn't get as good of a record. And that cumulative effect of more minutes, because like Jamal's going to have to play more now. Peyton Watson.
Would you play him more?
I mean, I wouldn't, just because I'm like, what's the point? Like, to me, it's like you can't. They can't talk all the time about all that matters is us being healthy for the playoffs. Like, they're not going to care about all my stuff about 40-20, top 3 seed, etc. They don't care about that. They just like, we know what we're capable of. That's the attitude they should have. Like, that's the attitude that they should have. And like these things are basically just like their threshold. It's like, oh, like 90% of teams have won 40 before 20 if they've won the title. But guess what? 10% didn't. Only 2 teams have won the title beyond a 3 seed in NBA history. Oh, but guess what? 2 didn't. Like, you can be that 3rd team. That's possible.
Well, Jamal this month is at 35 minutes a game in this month. And so would you say 35 is about the mark he should be at over the next month?
For what? Sorry? For minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would try and keep him under 37.
That's a lot of minutes. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. But look, to Jamal's credit, he's in great shape. He's taking care of his body. He's moving. He looks good. He's fluid. But to my overarching point that I talked about with Jokic yesterday, even with Jokic, it doesn't matter how many games you win in January. You just need to be healthy come April. Honestly, like, at this point, this is such a random convolution of events. Like, the Nuggets are sitting here. They're 4 starters and 4 of their 5 highest paid players all out with multi-week injuries. And I remember you and Ryan were talking about this, I think, when AG went down, and Ryan was like, man, this is a lot. And I think you said to him something like, well, every team goes through this. And I agree. But I agree with that sentiment at the time. But this is taking another step. Like, you know what I mean? We've moved into like just pure idiocy, with some of these injuries and the stuff that's happened. And it's not anyone's fault. It's just like the situation. This is just how injuries work.
But I mean, look, I'll say this though. You avoided season-ending injuries on all 4.
Mm-hmm. It's great news.
Like, this is a flip coin. So I did Locked On NBA today, and we asked for people to send in their for the hosts to send in their resolutions for their teams for the next year. We got 5 responses. 3 of them said, get healthy, stay healthy.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks their team is in the worst injury position. Everyone thinks like, they've just been so banged up. If they can just get healthy. And I'm like, no. But the irony of that is, like, with the Nuggets, that's why I continue to be so confident in them, is I'm like, this team, fully healthy, is able to beat every team in the association, including the Thunder. Like, fully healthy, that team is that good. There's ways that this can go. Like, I mean, here I do think it's worth worrying about Jamal, because it's like, look, if you suffer a Jamal injury, then I don't know what you do. If you're out 5 starters, I don't know what you do. And you got to worry about long-term stuff too. I do think this is tough. People want us to talk about trades. I don't necessarily understand why, because I'm kind of like, whom do you want them to trade, guys? Because here are your options. You can trade Peyton Watson, 2 minimum contracts, and Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway Jr., the minus contract of Zeke Naji.
Yeah.
And pick swaps. That's it. That's all you got. That is your entire cash to trade here. And I do think the interesting question, because people are like, well, we need another point guard to make sure Jamal doesn't burn out. And I'm like, you need a rim protector. Like, you need a backup center right now. You don't have one. So
how would you fix that though? Because I mean, the 15th spot should go to Spencer Jones at this point. By the way, who was playing phenomenal yesterday before everything happened. Like, that stretch he had in the second quarter was terrific. He had a steal on Norman Powell, got a block on Norman Powell at the rim, like was making threes. He was running all over the place. So I think Spencer has earned the right to be a rotation player for Denver this year. So are you saying trade one of the young players, like the cheaper contracts for
somebody's suggesting Strother and Tyson? Like, there's not a team that is so desperate to get under the tax that they want that those contracts would help them. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Is like, if you have a big expiring contract, then you have something that teams will want. But you don't have a big expiring contract. God, that's Ignacio. So I honestly would I would go the other direction, which is you found Spencer Jones, a diamond in the rough. I would give Duran a chance to make an impact. And then I would go find, like, this is just me. I'm always of this mindset. Go find the best G League player that is available, that is not signed, that plays center, that can rebound. Go find that person and give them a shot. Like, take shots on your evaluation of players. Don't try to trade with other teams from a leverage position where they know that you're desperate, your season is on the line. Your entire team could fall apart. People have asked about Moses Brown. I don't think he's the answer. I don't think they were high on him after the camp experience. I don't think they're low on him. I just don't think they're high on him. So somebody says the Cronkies already said that they would trade Jokic if he got injured. Okay. All right, guys. Somebody THTR wants to know if Zeke can make an impact. I'll let you.
They ran I noted that in my notes. They went it was Zeke Naji, Bruce Brown, and Peyton Watson in the minutes with Jokic yesterday, and the Heat they doubled the life.
I'm not gonna blame anybody for that. Like, somebody was like, well, look at their defense in the second half. Guys, like, that team thought that their season.
I'm talking about this is when Jokic was in the game. This is like the closing quarter, and they went that lineup, and it was just yikes. Like, you know what I mean?
The one to get. This is honestly the one to get. If you want to do the trade, this is the one to get. You take a pick swap that you are very confident that you will still be a great team, and so you're not giving back a good pick. You take that and Zeke Naji, and you offer him to Brooklyn for Day'Ron Sharp. Yeah, that's what you get. You go get Day'Ron Sharp. You get Day'Ron Sharp, and Sharp has a 98th percentile defensive rebound rate. He has a 79th percentile block rate amongst power forward centers. That's what you do. You go get Day'Ron Sharp. Like, that is like the answer for, if you're looking for that guy, it's that guy. Or if you want to go even cheaper, you offer something, almost anything, to the Charlotte Hornets, and you go get your old friend Mason Plumlee.
Diabate?
Come on. Come on, bro. Come on, my guy. I wish that the Bulls would actually do a trade, because I think their player evaluation is terrible, because they don't seem to think Jalen Smith is good. And I would give 2 pick swaps for Jalen Smith. You could play him at power forward next to Yoke. Like, he is insurance on AG. I would do anything to get Jalen Smith on this squad.
So can we get a trade for Io and Jalen? So that would be Peyton Watson, Zeke Naji, 2 swaps.
2 swaps for Io and for Io and Jalen Smith, and that's not bad. That's not bad. Unfortunately,
let's do
it. AK doesn't do any trades.
Arturas.
Detroit won't give up Paul Reed. Bobby Portis makes too much money.
Koloko, where's he at?
He might. I think he's available. I think the Lakers have him on their G League squad. I think the Sixers want to know what Bona does. I'm looking at block rate right now for bigs. Magic won't give up Goga. Yeah, Koloko is he's 97th percentile in block rate in his 6 games played. That's actually not bad. Boston Boucher.
They just got him.
And he's been awful, by the way. He's been terrible for them. Those are kind of your options. I'm just telling you that, trade-wise, there's not, a lot of good options. So that's just, there's not a lot of ways to go ahead and do that. We'll see what kind of happens here. We will continue reacting to Nikola Jokic's injury. I do not know whether we'll do No Jinx tonight with Ryan or not, since we've done a bunch of shows. But if we do, we'll put it out on Twitter, and you'll see it on YouTube. Turn on notifications. Appreciate you guys being with us. Thanks to Cam for jumping on with me. Appreciate you guys being with us. We'll see you guys again next time here on Locked On Nuggets. Freaking crappy injury luck this year. So bad.